Ladies and gentlemen, voted Long Island's best podcast by a bot farm in Russia, it's the Adult Baby Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 296. I am B.
I'm Chic.
I'm Ryan.
And I made it.
You
Chic
did.
made it.
You did. He's about 2 hours late. No big deal.
Yeah, literally.
No,
Yeah.
I've been here for
You're-
15 minutes.
Okay, you're right. So you're an hour and 45 minutes late.
So about 2 hours. In my defense, I was sleeping.
As if that's a
We
defense.
didn't.
Don't even bring it up.
Stop.
You know you're wrong.
Stop. And this morning it was confirmed.
I was sleeping when it got confirmed. I sent you the text.
Well,
and
we
you
were
didn't
sleeping
hear
at
it.
last
This is,
night.
yeah, so this is boring to talk about.
It is.
There's too much of this podcast starts with us talking about the production of this podcast that nobody gives a fuck about.
Ryan, that has been a problem since day one.
Yeah, I know that. I'm listening back and I'm like, these guys talk a lot about the making of this podcast. Just deal with that off the podcast and stop. Like, just start the podcast.
Oh, so how's
We like
everybody
to
doing?
be open with everybody.
Yeah.
But is it interesting to the people? Is the
anything
thing.
we talk about interesting?
It can be.
I think so.
What if we work a little bit harder at this? Maybe it'll be
Yeah.
interesting. Like, we're going to watch this podcast where this guy criticized us for a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, well, maybe we can learn something from this guy. Like, maybe there's something, criticisms in there that are justified that we can take into consideration. Like, yeah, should we consider doing this better?
I agree. I'm sure there are things that we could
It's
do
not like
better.
this isn't a flawless podcast. So there's,
Oh,
things, to
no,
there's
listen.
things to criticize. So why don't we listen to criticisms and apply them and be better?
Who's he to critic? Like, who's he, though?
He's just a person listening that might, like, that listens to podcasts.
Yeah, his podcast sucks.
It does. I was interested to have him on because I was gonna say matter of fact. I'm like, well, I'm like, like your podcast is like you're not very good at what you do either. Like we can all agree to that, right?
Yeah.
I just say that matter of factly, like not like it's not even like a judgment call. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, like we're not very good, but like you're not very good at what you do too. Like so
Yeah.
like we're all just kind of like having fun here, right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. So I want to like kind of cut him out of the knees and be like, I don't really take what you take seriously. Like, yeah, you have more followers than us and more viewers, but it doesn't make you good at what you're doing. It means
Yeah.
that you had you had Anthony on your podcast once, and that people listen to your stuff.
Yeah. Oh, was that they had?
I don't know. I looked through his page. I didn't even click on it. It said something about Anthony on there, so I don't know if they just played a clip from Anthony or if he was actually on the show.
Okay.
I didn't do that much.
I know a
It's
few
like a
people
real,
that listen to it. Like when I told people, I was like, "Oh yeah, I know about that podcast."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh,
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So did we talk about it in the podcast?
No,
at all?
we didn't.
No.
So we were featured on a podcast called "Who Are These Podcasts?" or something
Who
like that.
are these podcasts?
Who are these podcasts? Where they just pick a podcast and they just tear it apart for a half hour. So we were on that and they just shit on us for a half hour. But I skipped through it and like everything they said, I was like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, that wasn't very good. That part wasn't very good.
It wasn't. We weren't great. It wasn't.
We're
They
not
picked
great.
a good
Like, listen,
episode to shit
It
on.
might be, and I'll bring this up to him. And now we're talking about the podcast that we haven't even watched. We're doing the thing we
I
said we
know.
weren't going to do. But I'll say this in defense of us. In any podcast, you have to be somewhat invested in the people before you start listening. The hurdle is getting people invested in you to listen long enough where they care that when you talk about stupid shit that they would actually care about it.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like you got to get them in the door, and once they're in, you can kind of just talk about anything. But most
Yeah.
podcasts you listen to, like if you listen to it at first and like this isn't very good, but if you listen long enough, you can just get caught up in it and then
Yeah.
start caring about the nonsense they're talking about. You got to
I
get
agree.
through the door.
There's a lot of context that was missed.
It's like we do a
lot.
podcast for like people
Which
that
is funny to me that like so much was.
like they took our rap battle serious.
yeah,
Did they really?
That
Well, yeah,
was
they
the
said
whole-
that we're bad at rap. Meanwhile, the whole premise of it was, and like it was, maybe we didn't talk about it in that episode, but we talked about it like the episode before when we initiated. The whole premise of us doing that rap was that how can I be such a big rap fan, and same with you, and yet be so bad at rapping?
Right.
Like, how can we have learned nothing about rapping? Like, I've tried to rap and I'm terrible at it. The whole base of it is that we're fucking awful, but we
Yeah.
love rap. How is that possible?
Yeah,
So
I
the reason
agree.
we're having a rap battle is because, like, look at how bad we are, and yet we love rap.
Yeah.
And like they don't mention that at all. They're like, oh, look at these guys try to rap. It's like, and you were the only one that said, I think I could rap.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So if
still
you're going
think
to
I
criticize somebody's rapping, rap yours because you acted like you could do it, and then you sounded like somebody coming out of 1983.
They called my
Yeah.
laugh fake. Everybody who I know who listened to it was like, "Oh, this is so like they all got annoyed too, but they're biased because they're shitting on me."
Bias.
Yeah, but also, yeah, people I sent to were annoyed too, but it's not. I can't get upset about.
Oh,
this.
I know. I'm not.
And
Like,
I don't think you're a fake laugh. I just think you're an easy laugh. Like,
does-
there's a difference between having a fake laugh and somebody who just laughs pretty quickly.
yeah,
Like you're quick to a laugh.
I am.
You
I
don't-
agree.
Like, I would be like, you don't want somebody like that around on a podcast that's gonna
Chic
laugh.
is a great laugher.
Yeah.
like he's not faking it. This is
I
not,
listen to podcasts with fake laughter. Like I can hear people laughing fake. Like
Yeah.
you enjoy life and enjoy you get a kick out of you get a kick out of stupid shit and you laugh about it. Like
There's so many times where like he does that laugh, and you'll notice on the video that I look at him like, what is he laughing at?
Yeah.
Like that was not.
but it
deserving
never
of a
strikes
laugh.
you like he's faking it.
No,
Well,
no, never.
to them it is
Because
that
they
fat
don't-
producer loves calling it fake.
Because they don't know you. They don't know you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also think we're like road truckers or something
That's
like
when they
that.
acted like it was a podcast about trucking. It's like we mentioned that we're all truckers, and we discovered the fact like, oh my god, you know what's so funny is like we just realized we're all drive a truck for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't bring that up on the podcast. Like, oh, this is a podcast about 3 truckers who tried to rap.
Wait,
One
so-
episode we did that. And I was freed from it because it was like my 3rd episode, 4th episode being a part of you guys at all. So I'm like,
Was it that early?
maybe not, but you know, it was early on
Early enough, yeah.
that I was like, I was like not.
Finding yourself with
Yeah.
us.
Not that I'm a ton better now, but I could be like, I could alleviate
I
myself.
felt most offensive about you because our production level has skyrocketed, and all they kept on shitting on with the clips and timing. I can't wait for you to hear things. There was a lot of shots at you. I felt, and I'm like, this is.
But it's also the
ridiculous.
production's got better since then too.
Yes,
Like we got better
Mm-hmm.
microphones now, and we got like it looks better to me now.
I agree, but
The way I
got defensive. Yeah, I did.
The way I edited
I
the
took the
video.
bait. I get. I took the bait. It is
Yeah.
what it is. Fuck them.
It's fine, Chic.
and then like we're doing the okay, let's just fucking talk about it. So he criticized. I only skipped through and listened to a few minutes like in bits. But one thing he said in the intro when you say.
How long it took.
I'll give anything a chance, and then there's a
Oh,
beat, and then you
except
say,
me.
except he goes, you should have tightened it up. You would have made your co-host look like a real superstar. And like I couldn't. I'm like this guy obviously knows nothing about comedic timing. To me, that beat
agree, yeah.
is what makes that funny. Like you need that little beat there for realism to be
Yeah.
like you're like yeah. Except for you're getting to work on time.
If that was like a second faster, I feel like it wouldn't have.
it would have looked too
Well, that's why I
Clean.
also was like, the guy doesn't know. Thinks he's like claimed he's the king of comedy, I guess, or what's funny and what's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not funny.
right. And I could tell that even from watching him for a few seconds. I'm like, this guy is not good at what he's doing. But I get the hustle. Like I don't act like I'm better.
I'm that guy too with shock value. I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it.
I said I don't think it's a terrible idea for a podcast. I
yeah.
think it's very smart. It gets listeners. We're talking about
I
it.
used to
It's
listen to
such a
Opie Anthony.
hacky way to do it
I
if
used
you're
to
not.
but
Anybody.
But it's an angle. We're nobody either, though.
It's an angle if you were a good like a legit
You got to be great.
career
Why would a-
comic.
why would a
because if
legit-
you're nobody, you can't shit on anybody because you're a nobody.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
You can.
You have.
Well,
you can.
shit
Here's the
on
thing,
him
though.
though.
But yeah, because I would have never shit on him at all if he didn't say anything about me.
I always
it's-
prefer to punch up, and they feel like they're punching down. So like I
That's what-
wouldn't do it.
exactly.
I do criticize people and I shit on people, but I always like to do it with a wink, and I prefer to live in a positive angle. Like I like to take things in a positive thing and kind of hopefully make fun of but kind of embrace positivity
Yeah.
and love and embrace differences. And I don't like to live negatively and kind of shit on people. I do, you should see me on the road. I'm a fucking absolute asshole on
Yeah.
the road. So I'm not claiming, I'm this magnanimous person. But I just feel like, why would you want to shit on like a small podcast? And you're like, oh, they only have 82 views on YouTube.
yeah.
They've been
So
doing it
why
for
are
5
you
years.
shitting on them?
And they're like,
who-
and it's like, oh, they're just doing it for fun. I'm like, yeah, exactly. We're doing it for fun for the people who do
Yeah.
listen.
He goes, what do they do? He said something along the lines like, oh, it's the 250 episodes. Like, what do they just keep on doing it? They're like, we're just going to do it to do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's exactly. We said we're going to do it until we
Yeah.
don't have fun.
Also,
It's
that's
not
YouTube.
for
I mean,
anybody.
our listeners, I think, mostly come from.
most of our listeners don't watch; they listen.
Yeah.
So like
We're trying to get them to watch. Like that's sort of
Yeah,
a
we'd
newer
like to
thing.
because you can monetize that if you do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You can't monetize podcast apps.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's like that is true. It's like, yeah, more people are listening than watching. But that aside, yeah, if I'm doing something and 3 people are watching it, but they watch it consistently, I'll keep doing it. If I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to keep
Well,
doing
that's
it.
what I said.
Like
As
you're
long
acting
as you
like the only
have
reason
fun.
to do something is for
To
the end
blow-
value
exactly.
of it. Like that's
All right.
that's
He
something-
was like
that's-
on fat. That's why, and that's when I realized this guy's doing all this because he thinks he's going to blow up and he's trying to turn, and then it's just a hacky. There's nothing real about him.
It's fun. It's hacky. Like I said, I told you when you sent it to me, I'm like, yeah, this is an old Opie Anthony bit. They used to do this.
He's just not real.
Every
He's
October,
real,
right?
every October they would do Jocktober. They'd pick out every day. They'd pick out a radio show and they'd shit on it, and it was like a fun thing. So this guy is obviously an Opie and Anthony fan because
Yeah.
they made references to Opie and then Jim Norton in the few seconds that I watched. I heard those references.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just doing an old bit. That's it. And like, it's not a bad
At
idea
least
for
we
a
know
show.
who we are, and I feel like they're trying to be something they're not.
That's not even.
I
They're
don't-
just doing.
But
they
B will
don't know.
defend the guy because it's like B's best friend all of a sudden.
It's
when
not
I
defending
talk
the guy.
about him.
It's not.
I'm not
It's a matter of.
defending him. I just don't. It's.
I get that you don't care, but you like when I get mad, you like defend him, which
I'm
is
not.
mind-boggling to me.
No. You have this
He
feeling.
would rather shit on me and defend this strange fucking loser shitting on us.
When
for
am
a
I
half
defending
hour.
him? I'm just telling you, don't get mad because this is what it is.
And I am what I am.
It's like, all right, well, you can't take it personally because it's not like they didn't think about us. They were digging for stuff. Our podcast isn't bad enough. Like they were pulling for strings in the.
Oh,
what
I get
what I
it.
saw. Like there's worse podcasts out there that you could talk about. So like they found a podcast and they were shitting on it. That's it. Like
listen,
and then they
yeah.
had to like find things like, oh, this guy's doing this and this guy's doing that. But they were pulling for strings. Like
Yeah.
we're not cringely bad. We're just not very good at this.
That's it.
That's it. Like we're just guys having fun in the basement who are like, yeah, they're fucking around. Who are they harming? They're not very
Yeah.
good at this. They're not the worst. They're certainly not the best.
Yeah.
That's
what,
it.
You know, that's all we expect from ourselves.
I think we're
That's
great.
all we set out to be.
I would listen to this, but
I think we're
that's not
fantastic.
what people listen to. We were talking about what podcasts are famous now, and like that's not. I'm kind of tired of it.
And we're not even listening to those. Yeah.
I'm not really interested in what
Yeah,
podcasts
you
are
need like a
famous now.
crime fucking. You need to.
What's that? Even the comedy podcast, like we both said, like we listen to so much of that shit that it all seems like the same podcast now, and we're both done with it.
Yeah.
And that's just what's popular
That's
now.
why I never. I feel like if I listened to podcasts, I wouldn't like ours. I think the fact that I don't listen to any lets me just come on here and do it with no.
Yeah.
With
Well,
nothing in my mind about how we should do it, what we should or shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I think you're just a natural.
Anyway, so I think
Talker.
right as of right now, I'm not convinced that this is going to happen, but apparently we have this guy booked for next week. So
Carl Hamburger.
if this works out, you guys will have a fun conversation.
It will
with
be
this guy.
fun. Yeah.
It'll be a fun conversation.
That'd be
With
great.
me probably getting annoyed and everybody trying to check me.
And I think that's going to be part of the fun.
That'll be fun.
Is that you're
I
going to
think
get
that's
annoyed.
a good dynamic.
That's a good angle.
You
If
know?
we're all just trying to be buddies with him, that's going to be annoying to listeners who were
the
mad
fact
on our
that-
behalf.
Not you as much as him. Bothers me that he wants to be buddies with him.
I don't want to be buddies with
Like I
him.
feel like B
Where
would
am
like this guy would come here and punch me in the face, and B would take him out for a beer after.
I kind of want to be buddies with him.
I'm not. I just want you to
think
explain where you think I'm trying to be buddies with him. All I keep saying from day one, I'm like, take it for what it is. It's a podcast. This is what they do. They have a bunch of them. They picked us. Good. Let more people see us. Don't get angry. I've never once
I'm
said
all
this guy's
about
it's
great.
bad publicity is good. Like I get it, but to me, if someone just shits on a podcast, no one's gonna go to listen to it,
yeah.
Maybe I
or
don't
they're
know.
gonna listen to agree and then never listen again.
It is hard to get that first impression for a podcast is very important because if somebody comes across us again, they're like, oh, those guys that
They
that-
got shit
that
on by
get shit
this
on,
guy.
like, and they're not going to give us another chance. So that is rough. I feel like we can take some notes. I would love a little more pre-production for the show. I'd love to tighten things up. And I was telling Monique before, I'm like, I really should start a second podcast because there's so many like things that I would love directions I'd take this podcast. But I just feel like you guys have been doing this so long, and I kind of came in. I don't want to just like take over and like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we
No,
got to do
we
that.
want that. We need that.
That's
I know
why
that, but I want. Like I was telling her, I said, to me, this is a podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to showcase is B's sense.
Not
B's
me. Not
humor-
me.
Humor. To
No.
me, that's
Don't
to
put
me
that
that's when
like that.
I
Technically, your podcast.
when I joined this podcast, my thought was like, all right, how do we showcase the fact that B is funny?
he's a
And like,
comic,
and like, yeah, you're like, you
Some
know, you're
people
and I'm
like,
like his dumb
you're like a
friend.
normal guy that's like helps that I'm the producer, and it's like, how do we feed B to show off that he's funny? That's to me the premise
Come
of
to
this
my
podcast.
show. You don't find it out here. Those guys couldn't even figure out who the comedian was. That's the one I was like, which one is the comedian? I'm like, I don't know either.
I would also be like, fucking come to my show and see that I'm like you're a real comic, and like also like I have clips of my old comedy and like tell me that like I'll send you a 15-minute set that I'm proud of. Like fuck you, I was a good comic, you know. So I'm not. I don't take it personally because I feel like I have a little bit of a background to be like, yeah, you can say what you want, but I know that I'm better. Like I'm funny.
Yeah,
if
that's
we
true.
put us both on stage, I'll bury you any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not really that worried
I
about
agree
it.
with
you know?
that.
I'd have to.
Well,
knock-
can I tell you, I feel much better with him coming on knowing that I have you two with us
Yeah.
because I told B, I'm quick, but I'm mean. And it's not necessarily
Good.
like no, but for like podcasts, it's not like witty, clever, and everyone's gonna be cracking up. It's gonna be like, oh wow, it's gonna be like fuck you and your kids.
We're gonna be. There's gonna be a lot of excuse our friend.
Which I think is fine. Like
That's
you
great,
could do
and
that.
he's gonna understand that. He's not gonna take it personal. Like he's
Oh
gonna.
no, he's not. He already told me he remember when I sent you the text. One of them was like snoozing me because he's just like, I don't care what you like. Shut up. I realized that quickly. I was like, all right,
Good. Well, I thought you were over it. You go. I feel like you go from very mad to like, it is what it is.
because
to very mad.
because at the end of the day, I really don't care and I understand it. But when we start talking about
you
it,
get heated.
I just be like,
you
fuck
could
this
see
guy.
it. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I just don't think it's.
I'm glad he won't be here in person.
Right. Because you.
I would do want to punch him in his face.
It's so crazy. So crazy.
Just one punch. Because I think he's so fake. That's what bothered me the most about it. If a decent comic or somebody I respected ripped me, and I would be like, oh, like, all right, I get it. Like, I at least respect his views.
Right.
Like, maybe he has a point. To me, this guy, there are three schleps, and the woman who doesn't speak, who just sits there with her tits perked up in the camera. That's really all she was there for, was to show her tits.
That was.
I didn't watch enough. I
Yeah,
didn't
and
hear
you
her
wouldn't,
talk, but
honestly,
I
if you
didn't-
watched it for 30 minutes, she doesn't talk until the last 4, and she doesn't even disagree with me because I was talking about they tried to like check me like the USS Indianapolis didn't happen, but whatever.
All right. Well, if we could,
we'll talk about it. We'll
If we maybe we will do a watch along and throw it on the Patreon.
yeah, maybe
later
we'll do it
on
after we talk to him. It doesn't-
Yeah, but yeah, we'll wrap that. Well, we'll see if he's going to come on next week, and I'm
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
So
I'm excited.
let's not
It's
get
fun.
too
I think
deep into
it's
it.
fun. But this
So-
brings me. I had an idea, so I listened to an old episode.
I love that you're listening back.
Yeah, me too. And I hope it doesn't get bored that I keep bringing up old
No,
shit.
I
No,
think
I like
it's gonna.
I had an idea because you like history. You're a big history guy.
Yeah.
And I know that's a big blind side for me is history. I don't know a lot about it. So I would love to do like a segment where you teach me a little about history each week.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good
Come
idea.
up with a history fact and bring it in, and maybe I can absorb it. I feel like I'm more likely to
You're
absorb
probably
it.
going to absorb it and then become the teacher. Like you'll go deep dive it and learn more than I knew
I
about
don't
it.
know if that's the case, but
But no, yeah, I would love to do
Well,
that.
it's also funny just
But
hearing.
every time I
your-
try and talk about history, you always get a kick out of it. I was going to say.
Yeah, well, that's right. Your angle. It's funny to. I like to hear you talk.
I
about
feel
that.
like when I teach history, it's like dumbing it down for idiots.
it's good.
perfect.
No,
just
I agree.
make sure that you're telling me the truth.
Oh
'Cause
no, I don't
you know
lie.
what I mean?
Yeah, I don't lie.
Well, but like maybe like do a little research. Like don't come in here.
Oh, no, I
don't make me
won't.
look an idiot. Repeat
I'll make
some shit you
myself
said
look
on
like
here.
a dumber, like a bigger idiot if I come out here and try and give you a history lesson and it's completely false.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that would be a good segment to work on for sure. What can we call that?
I get him, and we'll do like he's doing class, and then at the end we could give him a graduation cap, and he flips the tassel.
Yeah.
This is why I told you my ideas. I always, I
good
shouldn't
idea.
say them out loud.
No, you should always say your stuff out loud. That's why we love you, Chick. Because you say what you feel. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm making shirts now like crazy.
I'm seeing that.
So
Is that
this
another
this
adult baby
No,
shirt?
this is not. This is I designed this logo for Monique. This is her business. So it's Healing Motions Massage, HMM.
HMM.
But I designed this logo. And
like
then she made merch, so she printed up on a store, like because she saw like our merch store. She goes, "Oh, it's so easy." So I ordered, I'm like, "Oh, give me a shirt and white." But it came out awesome. And
Yeah.
like then I just took one of my drawings and I made a shirt out of that, like on a different website. And I'm like, I'm gonna get in the shirt game.
You might as well.
For yourself or to try?
Everything.
Oh.
So I'm gonna okay, this is just, but for the adult babies.
Well, you're artistic enough too to draw your own designs.
So I
too.
started working on another adult baby shirt. Somebody commented that they want a bumper sticker that says adult baby on board. So I'm like, I gotta come up with
That's
that.
good.
I gotta come
That's
up.
a good one.
I gotta come up with that logo. Somebody on the Instagram comment said I want an adult baby on board sticker.
Who said that?
That's a hell of an idea.
That
See,
is.
people are more creative than us.
So I'm gonna design one of those, and like that'll be a fun bumper sticker, and like maybe even a shirt. But then like I'm gonna make a store separate of myself, like with just my drawings. Like I have
Would you ever think about condensing everything so it's like I have your girl's stuff, our stuff, and your own stuff?
No.
So it's like a wide array of stuff to get?
No.
And you could cross.
No, because I want to do like a legitimate T-shirt line
Okay.
with my drawings that like is like.
We got to think of a name.
Do you have
Or
a
already
name?
have a name.
I don't know. I don't have a name.
I'll think a good one for you.
Yeah, he'll get you a name.
All right. Because I do
He's
these
an
like,
idea
I,
man
I
over
do
here.
these like I don't really draw them. I'm not good enough for a drawer, but I take photos of like New York City buildings
And
I
you kind of
I
trace
kind
'em?
of trace them, but then I delete the background, so it's kind of just like
That's
a white,
cool.
it's white lines of buildings,
Oh.
and
That's a thing in itself.
yeah,
I like
so
that. Yeah.
and it came out incredible. It came out sick. So I was like, I'm
Do you
gonna just
have
do
it here? Can we see it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you want to know what
I'm
I'm going to do?
What are you gonna do?
So a very good friend of mine, her husband did. I think I might have mentioned it on here.
The art stuff.
the art stuff
Yeah.
with the beer cans.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like the brewery ones, so they're
Right.
all like special cases. So I was like, yo, that's like a dope idea. Now I don't know if I want to do the same thing with him, but since he started collecting those, I started collecting
That's awesome.
all the pot bags that I get.
Wait.
That's it.
That looks
Oh,
great.
that's dope. I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
And I got my little signature there. So I can
Yeah.
have like, you know,
Yeah.
I
that's
love that.
perfect.
it's like Keith Haring. You know, Keith Haring started somewhere.
Yeah,
You know,
hey,
you
listen,
make
man.
shirts.
That's a,
Well, like,
it's a cool
what's that-
little thing.
what's that artist-
Shirts are always cool. People love shirts.
People-
But I
love
just
shirts.
I personally I like black shirts with white
Me too.
text on it. That's
Yeah.
the kind of shirts I like. So I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
I'm
make
with
the kind of
ya.
shirts I would wear.
I would buy that shirt.
Can you make me a cool shirt, coat shirt?
Yeah.
Coach.
Coach
Yeah.
of everything.
Coach
or
Chick?
Uncle Coach or Coach Chick.
Whatever you want. Tell me what you want it to say, or like
I
a
might
theme
have
of
you
it.
make me a shirt for my nephew so I can wear it at soccer games with his name on the back.
So like this
well, his name is
there's
my
a, so you
name,
can do it
Chickalo.
you could do it on our merch store, or like I did this on the Vistaprint, and you can't make a store from that, but you can just design whatever you want and print it. And then,
That looks good.
Yeah, I would wear that.
yeah. So look out for a Ryan Brook design clothing line coming soon.
What was I just saying?
Now
I
back
wanted
to you,
finish what I
because
was saying.
you were telling me a fantastic idea about collecting your old pot bags.
Oh
and
yeah, that's what I was
turning
saying.
it into art.
Yeah, I stopped to wait for a second. What?
Okay, so they have.
I'm a bit of an artist myself.
No, he basically took all these brewery cans that have like the special cans and cut out the aluminum and did all these designs on it. Have you ever seen somebody take like all their CD covers, the books, and put like a collage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these pot, you used to buy like a clear dime bag. Now they have these square, like you've probably seen them. They're like packaged, like plastic bags, but they have these crazy designs on
I can
them.
tell you I haven't seen them, but go ahead.
I wish I had one. Actually, I do have them. I'll show you after the pot. I'll bring one on.
Take a picture and send it to me, would you?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
send it in the group.
Yeah, don't
text.
walk it back down here. Just take a picture and send it to me. Once I lock that door, I'm not opening it again.
Yeah.
But there's some really cool ones.
Okay.
And they have like some of them have like a whatever brand it is, the name, but they have like these dope designs on
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So I was thinking of I started collecting them. I have a whole bunch, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. But
Yeah.
I'm
Like me with my
hoping
stickers. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm collecting them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my whole goal eventually is that at some point, if I ever have my own place and I start putting wall art up, maybe I'll put them all on like I'll
Yeah.
frame it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's like the
You know
book
what-
covers.
you know what I- yeah,
get
yeah.
you're laughing because it's like a pot bag.
No, it's funny.
but they're cool.
you know why?
designs.
Because I'm thinking of the old school little dime bags.
They're not anymore.
And I know they're not
They're
like
like
that.
these big squares, and they have like one of them's Pamela Anderson. That was the name of the
Okay.
brand.
No, that's-
And
it
it's
is a
like
good idea.
It's like Pamela Anderson. I don't know. That's pretty funny.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I like a lot is the design of wine bottles.
Yeah.
The
why
actual
not?
bottle or the?
The label.
Oh, okay.
I love walking in a wine store. I don't drink wine, but I love the look of wine bottles. I feel like I would collect
you don't
my
think
old
they're
wine
boring?
No,
some of them are, but
some of the
but
good
some
ones,
of them
though?
are
Really?
like really
I feel
cool
like
looking,
most
yeah.
of them are always just kind of blasé. like,
No, go into
God.
a wine store.
Yeah,
you'll
I
see
Some of
gotta-
them are and I feel like the ones that are taken more seriously are the boring ones. Like a nice wine isn't doing like a picture on it. They're doing like
This
the
is
name
what
of
it is.
Yeah, and they're kind of resting on that.
I like the
but
one 99 Crimes. It just shows like old prison photos or something.
Oh, really?
I think Snoop Dogg did one of those.
Oh, that's fun.
I thought whiskey was more of a design thing. Like I feel like whiskey bottles are always the coolest look. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Do yourself a
whiskey
favor. Go
mostly
to a wine
just-
store.
I will.
Just
I
take a look
will.
around.
I will. I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Whiskey mostly just like the name.
Really?
Yeah, but
I
like,
just think of like Jack Daniels has their little cool design.
Yeah, that's like once it's set, it's set. Like wine
What about, like-
is you have different years and like they can change them over time and
I got you.
there's one I always see with like a hand, like digging in the dirt, and it's like a really good picture. I'll show
Yeah.
it to you next time.
How does wine get better with age? It's like, is that one of the only things that really gets better with age? As far as
you
like,
do.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as an edible or a drink or something like that that gets better the longer it lasts. Because most things go
Let's
bad.
see.
I don't
honey
get it.
doesn't get better, but it doesn't go bad.
Really? It never
Yeah,
goes bad.
I think honey is something that never goes bad.
Interesting.
Am I not saying that?
No,
I
I don't
don't.
think you are.
I have no idea.
But I can't imagine over time. So certain cheese, but I'm sure there's a breaking point with
There's
cheese.
got to be a breaking point.
There's
There's
gotta
no.
be a break.
I hate the cheeses that are like, oh, this is like some
I
of them
know.
that smell
yeah, like,
so.
but is there a breaking point with wine? Like wine gets better with age, but there has to be a point where
But
it's
it
like
has to be-
this
but
is going to
is there a
start going
breaking
bad.
point if it's they're talking about hundreds of years? Some of these bottles.
I don't
Wine
know.
has to be kept in the perfect condition.
Yeah,
You
right.
can't just take a $5 bottle of wine now, put it in your closet, and like, it's been 20 years. It's not. It's got to be.
2010.
Yeah.
Fucking.
It's got to be like in the perfect temperature, because otherwise,
Like
I think
meat.
the cork will fall apart.
There's some like dry aged beef, and there's meat.
Yeah.
There's meat that you can. Do people just hang in places like they have like meat houses?
But
and stuff
aren't
like that?
those turned quick?
Some meat?
60 days.
Some
dry
meat.
age.
Yeah.
Some meat hangs for a long time, like dries for a long time.
We have a dry age room.
Really,
Yeah.
on premises, and you just like things sit there and, like,
And
it
it sits there.
rotates out.
Yeah, and it gets like a little, I don't funky. Yeah.
I start.
So there,
tell-
so yeah, it gets better with age, but again, a breaking point. You can't just let it sit there like wine and
Yeah.
go back to it.
I'm just such an expiration date guy, and I.
I mean,
Really?
God, I wish I kept track of all the I'm a blank guys because
Oh,
that would have
yeah.
been a nice one.
Yeah.
I'm an expiration date guy.
We could have had a shirt with like 100 of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we could have.
I want. I have in my mind a design for that. So like when you're online, you have to like
Fill in the blank.
No, like when you have to scroll through your year.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like when you have to-
yeah,
I know, like,
yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
it's like a long thing. So it would be like I'm a blank guy, and then it would be a scroll of all the guys in the middle, and like it would be like you can scroll through, like pick
That would
out
be
which guy
amazing.
that you are. Yeah. Which we could still make that thing. It doesn't need to be a legitimate things that we said, but it can be like I'm a this guy, and then it could.
You think they're ever going to
Really?
come out with like a digital shirt? Like something where you could put like a. I know it
Yeah.
probably sounds ridiculous, but like you know how like people always get
Yeah.
crazy with the shirt.
Well,
with
there
something.
are-
You know, like the pictures that change, like you get those.
Yeah.
The frames.
Well, like cars, I think certain car companies now are making it where like you could change the color of your car by pressing
Yeah.
a button.
My buddy talked to me from his car the other day. I was walking past his car and he started talking to me from it. Swear to God.
Yeah, we all have Bluetooth.
No,
What do you mean?
his car. So
car
he
set
has an
hello?
app on his phone that allows him to talk through the speakers of his car to you when he's not in the car.
Oh, so he wasn't there.
He was in his basement. I was coming over, and he saw like because I told him I'm
Oh,
like,
you were outside the car.
yeah. I said I'm here, and I was walking as I'm walking
What
in
is the
his
point
house.
of that though? How often is that going to come in handy?
Yo.
I guess if somebody's by your car, you can if you can scare
That's-
him away.
Get away,
It's
get
kind
away.
of cool. Like you could say "get away" or whatever.
Yeah.
It sounded like fucking.
So maybe he gets alerted when somebody's close to his car.
I also think he could see. It's got like cameras that work full like all the time. It's
That's nuts.
what is it called? It's the Tesla.
Oh,
all souped
yeah,
up.
the Tesla always.
Yo, but he talked to me from it. I'm like, yo, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's pretty cool.
yeah, that is cool.
Sound like a robot.
Oh, so it's not his voice.
Well, I don't. You know what? I haven't heard anybody else under it. Like if the voice on that changes depending on who's talking into it.
Yeah.
But it was a robot voice.
But it sounded robotic.
Hi, Tom. Like
Yeah, it was just.
Did it
like-
say your name?
Yeah, I forget what he said.
you forgot what the car. If a car talked to me, I'm gonna remember what it said.
No, because I wasn't paying. You know when you're not paying attention and you just hear a noise and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I texted Chic, but I had a.
Yeah, let's get
I had
into
this gig on Friday. I had
Did
a
you
show.
text me?
Yeah, but this is I told you what happened quickly. But so I had a nightmare of a day Friday. Just there was a driver that got into a car accident, and he was an hour away, and I had to go pick him up and then drive an hour back. We had to finish our routes. Long story short, 11-hour day, and I had to I had this show at 8:00. I got home at like 7:45. Literally just had to run down there. And it was a benefit show. Now, I I should have done better research, but I had thought I had heard I had to work clean, which I could do, and I thought it was a benefit for a kid that got hit by a car. So I go up and nobody.
Oh, wait. So you thought this all the way up until you were on stage?
Yeah. And
You didn't ask not one person to bet. Like, I feel like I would be so paranoid to be like, okay, why are we here? Like, I used to do fundraisers at governors, and it was always like,
Yeah.
what is this for?
Why are we here?
Yeah,
I would have if I literally
you didn't have any time.
ran there
Where was
from
this?
work at the Nutty Irishman. So thank God it was down the block from me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
But I had them push me back. I was like, listen, I'm going to be there just in time. Like the show had already started when I was there. So there was a picture I saw like, but I just, I was looking, it had like a thing and I looked at it, but I didn't really read it. I should have. If normally I'm there way ahead, early and prepared. I just wasn't prepared. So I go up and I think I started by saying, man, I used to get fucked up in this place. I used to like whatever I said. And then I started
Punch in the mouth there once.
Yeah. I started with my weed joke, which is my opening joke about smoking weed, my parents and CBD oil. Apparently during that, this kid had died from a fentanyl overdose.
Oh no.
So I'm starting off my set talking about I used to get fucked up here, smoking weed, and I realized when I said it, I'm like, feels a little weird.
Yeah.
And it went all right, but like it was one of those rooms. There was like a lot of older people in the front, younger people on the side.
Yeah.
And as I got off stage, Ziegler's there, and Ziegler's like, "There's a lady ready to rip your balls off." So apparently, an old lady went up to Ziegler right away during my set.
Yeah.
It's like, how disrespectful of this guy to mention drugs when we're here for a drug overdose benefit. So I'm like, oh my God. So I go back there. I felt awful.
Sure.
But also, weed? I don't know.
Kind of I feel a little bit, but yeah.
But also, I get it. And
But
then
you don't want any talk about drugs at all.
no.
Yeah.
So it was on me. It was on me. I didn't
What's
do
going on
my...
over there?
Huh?
What's going on over there?
No, nothing. I got a random, like a weird.
What is going
Weird
on?
what?
A text, but it's
All
all
right, so you're 2 hours late, and then you're on your phone texting somebody.
I was listening to him, but
Just be here.
Do you understand that it doesn't feel like you're super engaged when you're looking
be
at your
here.
phone?
yeah, I
Right?
just
Take the phone,
was
put it
odd.
there.
It was just a thing that's been going on all day.
What's going on? In
All
there?
day since you woke up?
Yeah,
What time
An
did
hour-
you wake
2
up?
hours
An
ago?
hour ago?
yeah. It's
Okay.
Somebody. I don't. It's not worth talking about, but it's just.
But
a
it's
weird
worth
thing that's
looking at
going
your phone
on.
while-
yeah,
while he's
'cause I
telling the
was-
story.
I was
He's terrible. He's a terrible.
Right? Because
I
I'm
mean,
not.
this
I'm
is
having
why-
a hard, I'm even having a hard time listening to your story because I'm
Me
looking at him
I
looking
know
at his
he
phone.
was.
I know.
And I'm thinking like, is there there must be an emergency because there's only
Yeah.
a reason why I would show up 2 hours late and then be on my phone. And I'm guilty of being on my phone too much sometimes, but I feel like I'm a little bit engaged in this.
No, but it's just it's just an odd thing. I'll tell you.
There's
that.
an odd thing. Tell us after.
Yeah.
This is why I defend Carl Hamburger.
Carl Hamburger.
Because he's got
so
a good
right.
point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Got it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So it was
So-
a very awkward thing. And then I saw the lady. She went up to like a couple people and complained
About
about
you.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I am the last one that anybody's ever like. That's why I can
You
get
pride yourself on not being offensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I get hired for like clean shows.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I can work clean.
Like, I'm fine. I'm a fun guy. I don't want to hurt you.
I feel like it's also kind of ridiculous to have a comedy show on certain things that got like on and be sensitive about it.
True, but also
Like if I know that I don't, God forbid, anybody says anything, I'm going to be annoyed. Why would you do a comedy show?
I know.
Or
But
why would you go to it for the ladies at least?
Yeah, I feel like just maybe what made you think you got hit by a car? Like, why was that?
Because I have a joke about getting hit by the car, and I'm like, I just won't do that joke. I don't know
Yeah,
how
no, that's not. But that's not what made you think this was benefited by for a guy hit by a car. That was you.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but I knew in my head, I'm like, don't do that joke tonight, for whatever reason.
That's the joke you
because
should have done, and not.
That's the
yeah,
joke. You
and
should've
that,
did.
hit by a car would have
So
worked.
did you get to talk to this woman?
No, and then like afterwards, you have to bring like all the raffles and stuff up, and I went
Yeah.
up quick. I could have stayed, but I was like, I just want to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any apologizing, and I did
I don't
talk
think
to.
you should apologize.
I talked to some of the younger people there.
Why? But if we go through this too much. If he feels bad about it, then he should apologize.
I
Not,
wish-
not because
No,
he
I'm
feels like
saying
he
as a
owes an
comic.
apology.
I wish.
Yeah, but if he feels like he should have maybe done a little more research and not done that joke,
'Cause it was
if
on me.
if he would have known better, he wouldn't have done that joke. So he's apologizing for doing the joke because he feels bad that he made somebody feel bad. Right?
and I disagree.
You're not apologizing because you feel like, like she wants me to apologize. I'm feeling guilted into it. He truly is sorry. So if you're truly sorry, apologize.
Right.
Don't go through life not apologizing on principle.
I apologize all the time.
Okay. So there he is.
But not if I'm a comic. I just feel like I wouldn't apologize for my jokes.
Yeah, but it's different if it's a benefit show
a
and
different
it's like
situation.
it's not like I don't know. If it's a benefit show, she's an older lady. She's
I feel
not
like
going to
comedy.
comedy.
Is just like, I mean, what do you mean? Like, I hate the sensitive comedy thing.
But
but
that's a different. I get that too. But this is not like I'm going to a comedy show. This is a benefit for her grandson that died. You know.
And if you know this information before the show starts, you're like, yeah, I know we're here for a guy who had a fentanyl overdose. And if I have a weed joke and I'm still telling it, and then she gets mad, then you're like, yeah, I knew what I did, and I
Right.
don't take that back. I don't apologize.
I wouldn't have
He
done
wouldn't
it.
have done that joke
I wouldn't have done it, and
because
it's
he's not that type of comic.
It's not a hard joke either. The funny thing is,
Exactly.
Ziegler did a joke about meth and looked right at her, and she laughed. And that's probably because she doesn't know what meth is, and she knows what weed
Yeah.
is. So, but I talked to some of the younger kids, and they're like, "No, we all smoke. It's fine. It was good."
I'm sure that's the case, and I'm sure like it's a comics choice. Like I probably wouldn't do jokes about drugs if I'm in that position.
No, you wouldn't have.
But I'm a little more sensitive to stuff like that. Other
And I
comics
wouldn't-
are
I feel
like,
like that's the time for the drug jokes.
No, not a thing like that. Literally, after I got off stage,
It's not like you had a fentanyl joke.
I understand.
It's weed.
I believe me, I know it was a light joke, and it's not even like a bad weed joke.
That's
but,
what I'm saying.
But after I got off stage, it was me, and then Ziegler was going to close, and between us, then they had like the mother and the sister and everybody coming up talking about substance abuse, and they're all crying.
yeah.
And then Ziegler got up and said, "All right, everybody's crying. Time for more comedy."
Yeah.
It was just very,
How do you do?
he did very good.
He's good in situations like that.
He was just very. I watched him. He texted me later on because he knew I was like bothered by it, and he was like, "You did great. Don't worry about it.
I saved the night. Don't worry about
Saved
it.
the night." Yeah.
It's all good.
So
Zeke's came in and saved the day.
Ziggs does it again.
He does it again.
Yes, but it was like fun watching. I'm like, oh, see, he handled it totally like a pro. I'm also not great. The second when it goes dead, that's when I start to fumble. I'm like,
Flop sweats kick in,
Yeah.
and then the confidence is.
yeah. Like I did the show at the theater the night after.
Bolton Center?
Completely different story. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Felt great. But what are you gonna do? Sometimes that
have
happens.
those.
So yeah, it was very awkward.
But notice we're talking about that story, not the Bolton Center, because
Nothing.
a good. It was a great
Yeah,
show.
it was a great night.
That's no
Hung
story.
out with some friends afterwards.
Yeah,
had a
big
fun
deal.
set.
Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Boring, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought it was very. I felt bad about it, but also I was like, it's not a bad joke. I don't know. I was back and forth with it.
That's my whole thing. And what's his weed joke isn't. It's not even like a substance abuse joke.
No.
Of course.
No,
It's like
I'm not
such a
saying it's
lighthearted
crazy to
joke
do,
that
I'm
I'm
just-
just like.
I'm saying like if he felt bad, that she felt bad, and if
But he
if
feels
knew-
bad about everything.
well, if you were there, it was like a funeral. You know, it was people crying afterwards. After
I'm
literally
usually-
on the stage
I'm
after
usually a
me.
joke cracker at a funeral.
What?
No, I like
Me
lighten
too.
the mood at the funeral.
Me too.
But you,
Oh, I get it.
But
I
that's
know.
You
but
don't,
you're
like-
not going up in front of everybody and being like.
Hey,
and making a joke about the thing that killed the
Yeah.
guy that's in the thing.
It was.
you know?
I get what you're saying, but in the context with this, it was just a little different. If it was a regular comedy club,
What about
Are they-
clogged arteries? Am I right?
I don't know anything about. I'm like a drug idiot. I don't know. Like, but are they putting fentanyl in weed?
No,
No.
Well,
That's a coke thing.
you know
right?
what? I'm not,
Not that I
saying
know
it's
of.
never been done and some idiot didn't try it or whatever, but it's not the real worry. The worry is fentanyl and like coke. I think.
yeah, I
You
think
can't
so.
see it.
Heroin.
Or white. Yeah, I guess
Heroin.
heroin too.
Heroin is.
Because isn't it
Any
like
white powder
It's
or
like
something like that you could
It's in
sniff
the same
or
family as
shoot.
the heroin. Like
I
guess?
think fentanyl's worse.
Wor-
Fentanyl's
no,
a,
fentanyl is worse, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like it's the same type of like.
No, because people could sniff it too. That's why they're dying too.
So yeah, I'm proving, and I openly admit I know I'm not interested in the drug
I don't know a
world.
ton about it either. I just know that they could put fentanyl in coke and you wouldn't know it.
I used the term ecstasy the other day, as if that's still a thing that goes around.
No, it's
Molly
Molly.
now.
It's
Yeah,
Molly now.
I said something. I'm like, I said
Well-
something like, oh, just because you're on ecstasy, And then afterwards, I was like, I don't think it's
Is
ecstasy. anymore,
Molly
is
the
it?
same thing
No,
as ecstasy?
That's the
Molly's-
question I had.
Molly is a cleaner. I think it's a more natural version.
a
of
But
cleaner
it's the same vibe.
Same thing
of
as
drug.
ecstasy, but I think it's
Same
actually
feel.
cleaner.
Okay. Well, that's
Right.
good.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No, the only drugs I've ever tried are shrooms, opium.
Opium.
I smoked opium when I was in high school. I would
That
smoke.
feels
anything.
intense. Yeah. What about like
But
what's
I didn't like it. It
What
didn't
did
do
it do to
anything
you?
crazy, but it just roasts and tastes like chemicals. It's awful.
how about ketamine?
Never tried ketamine.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big drug guy. Never tried coke. Never tried E. Never tried. And the only thing I have tried is shrooms, pot, opium, maybe a couple Vicodins and shit like that
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
So my sisters were big, and I don't want to out them on the podcast, but everybody knows. They were.
It is
That
what it is.
was.
We all had our time.
Yeah, they were. And I just had no interest.
Yeah.
But they would be like,
Were they
you know,
clubbers? Like,
yeah.
yeah, there you go, partying.
Yeah,
Probably
I mean,
big
my
in the
sisters were
city?
just, we were just like reminiscing about when they got pulled over on Halloween and there was just a trunk full of drugs and
Oh,
you
my
know,
God.
off to jail and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. But as I was around it, like I would
What-
come home and they'd be all like,
Were
around
they
there-
like city, like go to the club at
Yeah.
like 4, like the and the
Sound
Fact
Factory.
Factory? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's
that was
great.
them, yeah. And I just, I would go to clubs, local clubs every once in a while. That place that's now called the Main Event on 110.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it used
What
to
was
be
that called?
Posh.
Siberia?
Or no, Siberia.
I went there for like teen night.
Well,
I
that,
went there
that
later,
place has been
yeah.
a lot of different
It's
things.
been it's
but
been
it was
so many-
also a heavy drug using club.
But I love
was.
to dance, so I would go with them and truly just be on the dance floor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
yeah. But I
no
was
drugs
Like,
needed.
no drug. I would just.
Well,
yeah,
those
I
drugs
didn't-
are a little different. Those are kind of like, you're not going to see somebody on those drugs and hate them.
They're
Like,
fun because those people
they're-
have fun. But they would like my sister. She got into. I guess it was like ketamine. Like my sister's nickname was Special K.
That's amazing.
So like they would come in. It would smell like burnt chalk. Like I guess they would like cook it in the microwave.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
see. I
really?
wouldn't
And,
have
like,
known that.
and then they
if
would
I-
just like always be sitting around the kitchen table, just like staring at each other. I'm like, yeah, this looks like a blast. And I would just come downstairs and
wait until they put that music on though, and they'll be in a world of their own.
boots and bats and boots and bats.
Boom, boom,
And what's funny is I love that music too.
Yeah.
Like, I
really?
love house music. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't understand how you.
I think
could like
I
house
always thought
music
you had
not
to be
being-
like
yeah,
on
you
some
have
kind
to
of
be.
a
Yeah.
pill.
I
I
straight
feel like you have to be on drugs. to
straight as
listen
an
to
arrow.
that.
I'm just like I'm throwing fists.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Their eyes are always like.
Maybe that's why I've never drugs. I always feel like I'm have like a
Maybe you have that.
Maybe you're just naturally high.
I think so, dude.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
high on life.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing
My
wrong
brother
with that.
was more of that guy than me, and then I have my middle brother who doesn't do anything but drink. So it was like two of us
Yeah, man.
dabbled, and then one of us didn't at all.
Never interested.
Yeah, it scares me. So I won't do it.
It's always been a
Partially
control
because of
thing
my
for me.
oldest brothers, probably why I didn't dabble with certain stuff that I
Right.
didn't.
Well, that's good. You learned,
Yeah, but it's not like I didn't
Try or-
abuse the things that I did.
Oh
do.
yeah, and still.
I still do. I still do.
I don't know. It just never. It always scared me. It always scared me.
Scared me too.
Well,
I
it
was
did.
scared.
It scared me too. Some of the heavier stuff.
Drinking, the fact of like not being in control and doing things that you might not do otherwise, and most drugs, or feeling like it just. It always scared me to be like, well,
Lose control.
I don't know, like, what if I didn't want to do that thing and I ended up doing it?
Right.
Hence, a lot of issues people have.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Nobody ever. I used to try this bit. It was like kind of hacky, but I would be like, if I heard one story about saying like I got so drunk last night, I spackled and painted my entire house finally.
Maybe I would
Yeah,
do
So I
it.
was like, maybe I would be like, oh, is people doing productive shit when they're
Yeah.
drunk? But I was, like, it's not. It's never hit. It's never. That
It's
story.
never
It's,
anything
it's
good.
like it's like I put holes in my wall that I needed to spackle.
Now I have to fucking redo my whole wall.
Yeah. So I was like, you're better off not doing it.
I don't like drinking because it made me like bloated. It just didn't like the way it
Yeah.
felt, like
Yeah.
my stomach. That's really all it came down to, and I hated the taste.
And you need all the help you can get.
Yeah.
Not bloat anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
and-
little less. I can't imagine a more
But
bloat.
now I wonder. I'm like, yeah, but I can barely breathe sometimes. So it's not like I chose something that feels better, but it does. I'd rather not be able to breathe than have that
Yeah.
bloated
Hey,
stuff
you,
feeling.
You choose what you will. I actually smoked. I had a hit of a joint this past weekend. So how you doing? And I liked it. It was good. Only the tiniest little hit. You know?
You blew the smoke in that woman's face at the Nutty Irishman.
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch. I'm telling the jokes I want.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys, by any chance, see the new South Park fight against obesity or the end of obesity?
I can tell you no.
No, I
So
didn't
they
see
did
it.
it about Ozempic, and they made fun of. They destroyed Lizzo.
I heard something about
And
that.
there's a reaction
Yeah.
video of Lizzo
I saw that.
watching.
Yeah.
And it is fucking hysterical.
Why? What did she do?
She just has like, what the fuck
stunned
is,
look.
dude?
Was
she
it
got-
bad?
She got. I mean, if I was her, I mean, listen, we all know I don't like getting made fun of.
Oh,
but
can you
she
imagine?
got destroyed. So basically, their whole thing is like, you know how she's all about just like be who you are,
Body
and
positivity.
body positivity. So the whole episode is about Cartman wanting to get Ozempic so he could be skinny, and instead of the people who basically don't have insurance or can't afford Ozempic, they give them the Lizzo. They put them on Lizzo, and it's just body. Like, you just don't have to care about being a piece. Like,
Oh, okay. I
just
got
you
it.
know, be positive, and it's all this. Everybody hates it. It's just, dude, it's fucking hysterical.
It's
Oh
got him.
my god.
Really
Could
got
be
him.
called the chick too. I mean, that's the same
Oh,
drug.
dude.
Yeah.
The Liz, but her reaction video, I was dying. It was
great.
fucking
All right.
hilarious. I
I'll have to check
highly
that out.
suggest
I'll
people
check
to
that
watch.
out.
I'll send it to you. I have.
No, you don't have to send it to me. I think a few people have sent it to me. I just never opened it. I'll find it. It's there.
I watched the first few seconds of it. I was like, it's funny, and then scrolled right past it.
I love South Park. I think it's a fucking treasure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great. People love it. And I'm sure it's great writing. I got a hard time caring about it.
All right.
I'm sure I've often thought I'd like to sit down and watch it.
All right.
People,
I
yeah,
had no idea what else to go with that.
I'm sure it's great. I don't know.
Because the only thing I was going to say is it's fantastic, and they're usually
That's all I
dead
ever
on.
hear is like
I always hear the same. I've never
their
really
social
watched it.
criticisms are on point.
It's hysterical. Their whole pandemic like trilogy that they did, it was
Yeah.
fucking hysterical.
Maybe I should sit down and start watching it.
I
just
feel
to see
like
it.
you,
Yeah.
out of all people, would appreciate the humor in it.
Yeah.
But I could also see how you could be turned off because there is a lot of toilet humor and it's kind of dumbed down.
I've actually been in what you'd call a rough patch.
Isn't that the greatest?
That's the best one
That
ever.
didn't fit in, but I needed to play it.
Yeah,
before
we played it before when we did a little episode before this,
Oh,
and he
that's
dropped it on me.
fantastic.
I was crying laughing.
That is a good one.
Just the way you like come to like you just figured out this thing called a rough patch. Like I just
What you
this
might
little
call it.
thing that
I'm
you
putting
might
your meow in there too, though. Now
Yeah,
that I
all right, good.
know the backstory.
How
of it.
many can you save on that?
What's 3 times 8? It's 24.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good amount.
Yeah.
Because
Most of them I think you should leave, which I should get rid of because that's for my own entertainment.
yeah.
I should make them all specific to us.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, how was your Memorial Day? I apologize. It's my fault. Last week we missed an episode.
Yeah, we missed a whole episode with you. At least I showed up.
Well, yeah. And you know what sucks? I was in Fire Island, and I meant
You
to
call it
text
in
you
Fire Island, huh? Not on Fire Island?
on Fire Island. Yeah, I was on Fire Island. And I meant to text you guys earlier that I was going to be there, but it was kind of like I had a weird work week the last 2 weeks, and it got away from me, and then I realized it was late. But I did get you on Saturday?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
No, you're right,
Saturday.
it was.
I wouldn't wait till Sunday.
Because I said it'd be good to record tomorrow. Then he was like, actually.
Yeah. So
And that's why I sent it last night. And yeah, it was a little later but that's when it kicked into me like, oh shit, are we recording tomorrow? And then I didn't hear back, so I just slept.
Like, yeah.
Well, you also texted earlier in the week because we were thinking about maybe doing it during the week, I guess.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out, and I was like, I could do Wednesday. And
No one was thinking about doing it during the week. You are. You tried for that.
well, no. You texted. So when are we doing it? And I said I'm free tonight or tomorrow. So that was it. And then you got angry at
He
that.
said, well, I can't do
response.
either day. So Sunday?
You got angry at me for responding to you, and then you said Sunday, and then
It's
you
a
didn't
lot
show
of-
up. There's a lot of things.
I got to go back and look at these things because I feel like a lot of this is out of a little exaggerating.
No.
Again,
don't
we're
remember
getting
being
into very
angry.
boring conversation.
but anyway-
yeah.
I was on call on Sunday, and I had to leave Fire Island at 7 in the morning I got called into
Monday,
work
what day? Monday? Memorial Day?
on Sunday.
Sunday.
So I was out there on Saturday, planning on being there the weekend, and I got called back to work.
What time did you have to go in?
I took the 7:00 ferry, and it was
So it's a good thing we didn't plan. You wouldn't have been on a podcast anyway.
no.
You were on call?
I was on call.
Is that a pre-Memorial Day
Yeah,
thing?
every holiday.
Every holiday? The day
Yeah.
before you have to be on call?
Yep.
That's interesting. That
I
sucks,
know.
huh?
It sucks. But and then I told him, I was like, listen, if you're gonna ask me to come in, give me a late start.
Yeah.
And then so now I had to take the 7:00 ferry, get all the way home, and I had to wait like 2 hours to start work. So I was just sitting around there. So it was like such a bust of a weekend. I was like, it was so nice out
And then
there.
did you go back afterwards?
No, because at that point you take
Oh,
a ferry.
that sucks.
So it kind of ruined my whole weekend. But what are you gonna do? I want to get you guys out there this
would
this
love
Yeah,
summer.
you've been talking about that for a while now.
Well, I tried last summer. It didn't work. So I want to put it in the books.
You can't usually ask someone like the day of or the day before.
Uh-uh.
Oh, you want to come to Fire Island tomorrow?
I did it a month in advance. I'm telling you right now. Give me a date.
You give us a date.
I'll give you a date. I'll give him a date.
I would love to. Yeah.
Look at that face.
I'd love to. I wouldn't spend much time on Fireland. I'd love to.
I want to get you guys out there. I want to record a podcast out there. I think
Dude,
it'd be
That
fun.
would be fun.
I think
do
it'd be
that.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. So what did you guys do? Anything fun?
No, it's just a regular day off for me. My schedule changed. Now I'm off Mondays, so it was like,
nice.
I always like to have a burger. So I went and got a Impossible Burger, but a burger nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I celebrate. I don't go to parties or anything. I don't do it. I just have a
Just
burger.
one Impossible.
I just
burger.
always look for anytime I can make an excuse for myself to get a burger. I take advantage. I just like every summer holiday. I'm like, oh, I gotta get a burger. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all I do.
Do you not normally eat burgers?
I do. I also eat burgers other days. I just make sure. I just love burgers.
Burgers are
doesn't?
fantastic.
Great.
Even an Impossible Burger.
I
I don't know if I've ever had an Impossible Burger.
I give it a shot just for shits and giggles for the conversation of it.
Yeah,
Get two burgers and have one of them be an Impossible Burger.
You know what I found out about this week?
What'd you find out?
Flavored ketchup.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either, but I'm just saying I never knew it even existed.
Now, what kind of ketchup? Like, I've seen the hot ketchup.
That's what it was. It was like habaneros and all different types of hot ketchups. My buddy sent me a picture because he likes these flavored ketchup.
Yeah, I don't know. I like my ketchup like I like my ketchup. I like a little hot sauce. But then sometimes sometimes I take a steak and I use ketchup, but I mix it with steak sauce. Is that gross?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I wouldn't put steak sauce or ketchup anywhere near a steak
Oh, I love it.
when I was eating steak.
I love it. Do they have Impossible Steaks?
No. They have a thing called meaty, meati, which is like fake.
That sounds
Steaks?
gross.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
It's not a great name.
It's not. There's no replacement for a steak.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's good. Like I have them and they're decent, but they're not. I would never tell somebody. I would tell somebody to have a burger, Impossible Burger, and like try to tell the difference, but not a steak.
Interesting.
Is it?
No.
Not really.
Is it really interesting? Or are we
really.
just
A
trying to?
little shout out to Farmingdale, real quick though, for winning the Long Island Championship in lacrosse and Nassau counties in baseball.
Awesome.
Having a hell of a
Wow,
run.
we are in trouble here. We're drowning.
If you made it this far,
Yeah.
I feel like we had a good conversation the first hour, and
I
now
ruined
This was
mine.
good. This
I
was
ruined
good.
it.
No, this was good.
No, you didn't ruin it.
This was fine up until about 5 minutes ago for some
Yeah.
reason.
So we got a shorter episode. It is what it is. Instead
Yeah.
of trying to
I
beat
gotta
that
listen.
horse.
I gotta
got
I gotta
yeah, bring something out from the list.
something from the list. So much pressure for something to be funny.
I know.
But you guys, does the name JoJo Siwa mean anything to you?
I
Either
know
of you guys?
who I've heard of it, but I don't know a ton about
Yeah,
it.
I don't know who this person
It's a
is,
pop
but
star.
I know the name.
I've heard this name, same as you, probably up until maybe a week and a half ago.
Is she a Nickelodeon
I
star?
came across. Can't even really tell you. Didn't go that deep a dive, but I made a mistake of clicking on her video. Like I saw like some clip where she was like, it was some hat she was wearing. It was like over, and I was like, oh, this person looks weird. I was like, oh, that's JoJo Siwa, huh? I've heard this name in passing over the time. Like, oh, I guess. But now my algorithm thinks I'm a JoJo Siwa fan. I can't get out of this. How can I wish you could tell an algorithm. Listen, I clicked on this video, but now I'm no longer interested in
Yeah.
this.
You got to stop looking at it
I
and
have.
clicking other things.
I have, yeah.
Oh.
But it's still coming through. But I wish like immediately I wish you
can't-
could watch the video and like thumbs down it and then let the
See if you
algorithm
can
know.
go to your archive history and delete any JoJo Siwas.
because I don't like this person.
You know what I'm saying?
I
though?
don't want to see any more
Like
content.
Your history, you could sometimes like archive history. You
Yeah.
might be able to delete it there.
It's funny you say that because I had a thing going on with my algorithm.
Yeah, my algorithm's great.
I found there's a woman with Down syndrome,
Yeah, that's all I get.
but she's a model.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
Did you ever see did you ever read the comment sections in those videos?
Oh, boy.
No.
Oh, they're hysterical.
But-
Sometimes I do catch a
People
video,
are very
and I'm
clever.
like, I go, oh, this is awful. But
I
go,
did see some
but I-
people were like, she's
but I gotta check the
not.
comments.
But then then
Someone wrote, if she's down, I'm down.
that's funny.
People are funny.
They
People
are.
are very funny.
That is the comment section is.
Dude,
some
I
of the
watched a
best
video
stuff.
with a woman who, like, you couldn't really tell which. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it was a they them. You couldn't really tell in the video. But in the video, they like landed on a pole, like right in their genitals, where whatever they were.
Yeah.
And somebody said that pole caught him right in the they thems. I couldn't stop laughing. Caught him right in the they thems. And a lot of the comments were very funny.
Yo,
like,
there's
God
a lot
damn,
of
people are
very
funny.
clever fucking
so good.
comments.
Yeah.
The comment section is great. The Down syndrome ones.
God,
Alright,
you
so-
got on that too?
No, I've been on that.
Oh,
I enjoy the videos.
Well, yeah, because
I
you watched.
still-
You sent that video too of the.
I also watched the two cooks, the Down syndrome
yeah,
cooks.
Yeah.
And then there's the other guy, the Chippies, World of Clayton.
okay. So you're in the whole Down
I'm
syndrome
in the Down,
world.
but so my algorithm, I get a lot
That's
of Down
so funny
syndrome stuff.
because I thought it was so great. Now I'm getting like
Chippies.
these hot women with Down syndrome
Yeah.
are on my.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
was. That was that.
so I
with,
just stopped looking.
with little people for a while.
Little
Yeah,
people.
there's
Because
one. No.
There's a couple of like
Oh yeah. there
who
is.
were like smoke shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I followed one of them, and then it was like, oh, we got one. 'Cause
we
I thought
got
a lot-
more for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Would you date a little person?
sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
be interesting.
100%. Not even like no question. I would be like,
Yeah. Some of them
Yeah.
are good looking, man.
Yeah, I've
there's
seen
not-
some
like,
of
I
those.
don't even
Instagram.
understand.
Instagram shows you there's beautiful people in every type.
Down syndrome one video is with the sister and her sister. I mean, they're sisters, and one of
Yeah.
them has Down syndrome, and
Yeah.
she's always like hip. It's like a hip hop girl. Like she's always
Yeah,
dancing,
yeah.
and There's
this might be disrespectful. I don't know if this is offensive or not, but sometimes you see parents. I used to like see parents with Down syndrome, and you get like kind of sad for them, like, oh, it's a rough go.
they're the happiest people.
But just that, man.
Yeah.
Like you got this kid who's never gonna get to the point where it's like they're, depressed or like they got to go through this problem in life and this problem in life. Like they're just a happy person,
Yep,
and it's like, I don't know. Maybe that's a win. Maybe
that is
like you're responsible with them for a lot longer.
You are responsible, but you could have a
But you
lot
got
of
this
fun
joy.
with
You
them.
got this person who is just
My aunt
joyful.
had Down syndrome. There were things that, without getting too far into it, because my grandfather was, and he meant well, but he wanted to control. You know, you worried about your daughter.
Sure.
So he was very controlling of her, where she didn't do certain programs that might have been beneficial to her.
Yeah.
Say when she
Yeah.
was younger, that brings them out to socialize and this
Sure.
and that. But she was always generally very happy. She used to always sing Neil Diamond. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Like I'm sure if you had to choose, if when you're pregnant, okay, you have a choice. Do you want your baby to have Down syndrome or not? You're gonna choose not. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because that's.
But it's not a
But
end all be all.
yeah,
Definitely not.
Like you think
No.
like, oh, this is what I wanted, but lean into it. Like you got a beautiful soul on your hands.
Yeah.
Like just
As long as they got a good family surroundings and they're having
Yeah.
fun,
That's
they're
the
usually
key, yeah.
generally very happy people.
yeah.
I love them. I do. I have a soft
I
spot.
think the same.
for
Like,
them.
I was same thing with like I was having a conversation about like autism before. Like we had, it's so like this kid's got autism, but it's kind of like great. Some like it's a spectrum. Sometimes
Yeah,
like, there's
listen.
people really struggle with it, but if sometimes somebody's uber focused on something that they love, and it's like this person, they nailed it. Like they're
Yeah,
doing everything
fucking
like
genius.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not always just a blanket like terrible thing.
I agree.
But yeah, so my algorithm is heavily Down syndrome based.
so funny.
It's like
It's funny that it's heavily Down syndrome based.
I
Like,
see
that's the
them
funny
all.
part
I
of
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
I thought it was so bizarre that I had it. Now I'm sitting, my buddy's got the same thing.
Mine's, but I almost choose it because
do you
I
think it's
constantly,
contagious?
I
Maybe.
share them. I like them. I love them.
Is it contagious?
Sometimes I think that some things are contagious
Yeah.
because like I'll I'll have this end up in my algorithm and you see somebody you follow who likes every video.
Right.
It's like they aligning me with this person who I'm friends with.
It's very possible.
Like it's like
I think once they send you something, they're probably like, "Oh, his friend likes this."
exactly. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's
this
probably
person
just
hangs
like
out with
that.
this person. This person likes it. Like, let's see if we can
Yeah.
get this person on the hook.
Yeah.
They're like looking for anybody that they
You
can
guys
send.
got to watch World of Clayton though with the chippies. Whenever he eats chips, he calls them chippies and he puts them on everything. He loves it.
Who is it? Is this like a television guy?
Well, I don't know if they're television, but they're like apps. I
Okay.
mean, not apps.
Apps.
They're
They're
Instagram pages, and it's usually they post all the time.
All right.
He
Who's
visits.
got the best footwear today? Can we?
Not
can,
me.
Can we agree on that? Can we,
I got
Can we
Crocs.
vote on that?
These don't count.
So those don't count. So
Come on, look at
And
B
they
and
don't
I-
even, the only thing I love is
B
they
and
don't
I-
smell at all because they're constantly aired out.
B and I
true.
are rolling in with fresh
kicks.
I just got these.
I like yours. I hate his.
And
yeah,
then he's
these
got-
are not your style.
I don't even like the socks with your whole style today is weird.
You don't like the socks? They're inside out.
You look like the person in high school who's trying so hard to not be cool that it's like I'm gonna wear checkered shoes with
So I just-
starred socks.
Before he showed up, I watched the new Sal Volcano special we were saying before we recorded. Do you know Sal Volcano?
Yeah.
From Practical Jokers? I recommend it. I
is
didn't.
he
I didn't
funny outside of Impractical Jokers?
I truly enjoyed it. I thought it was
Okay.
funny.
I
It was
wanna
just
check
like
it
it was like it was a fun, goofy thing. It was like a kind of a throwback to like simpler times comedy. He's not offending anybody. He talks about fun things.
Yeah.
Okay, I like him.
But he wears
wearing
he
these.
wears those like pretty much exact shoes. So I had a conversation about it. Like I never owned those, and I don't know how I feel about them. And then
I don't like him at all.
And then he walks in wearing these, and I just
Well, me and my sister were talking about these. I always wanted like the Vans slip-ons.
yeah.
Never had them. I love Vans. So this summer I was like, I'm gonna get them this summer, and they're a great summer shoe.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
a
more.
slip-on.
I
There's
like,
nothing great about that shoe.
And nothing
like
great
them
about that shoe.
I said I don't have the good. I just hit myself.
Is it the Vans you don't like, or is it the checkered Vans you don't like?
Checkered.
Oh, okay. I figured go with the classic.
The checkered. He's trying hard to be different.
Yeah, because I think I
You're a
do
tryhard.
I do truly
I'm gonna try hard.
hate those sneakers, but I think it's just a checkered. I think I would try Vans. I've never done Vans,
I don't hate on Vans. There's a purpose for them and people that skater look type thing.
but I've also come to the conclusion that some shoes don't look good in my size. I think most shoes are designed
'Cause you got a big
for a
foot?
pair 7. Because these showed up in the mail and I put them on. I'm like, I don't love them.
I like those.
but they're not meant to be this size, this long.
Your foot isn't that big, buddy.
I can't. Oh yeah. How come when I go to a store? I went to DSW the other day. Not one size 14 in the entire store.
Oh wait,
You're
you're
a size
14?
14?
Yes.
I thought those were gonna be like a 12.
I'm a size 14. Not one size 14
that's
in
pretty big
DSW.
foot.
So you're telling me that's not an abnormally big shoe?
This shoe in a 14 would not work.
Two like boat look like a floppy boat.
Way too
I'm
many
not gonna lie. I
checkers.
think people with huge feet are awkward.
I hate
Everything is just
I
big.
hate the size of my feet. As much as I love my hands, I hate my feet.
But you like what what they say. They
do,
blessed
yeah.
in other ways.
Yeah. But I think I think I could never wear those. Those would be
They also shit on your
ridiculous.
cock.
Huh?
Those people shit on your cock.
How so?
Oh, like a girlfriend. I want to be like, the kid's got a hammer. Of course his girl wants his cock when he's not around. They're like, yeah, that's what your girlfriend wants for Christmas is a replica of your cock.
Who shit on it? Was that on that podcast?
He's back
Yeah.
to the podcast again. He can't get these
but that
guys
was
out of
that
his
was
head.
like 6 months later we talked about that.
Maybe they checked and did other things. Maybe
They watched the history of our podcast
Maybe. They mentioned it.
in a positive way. Like they shit on that.
They shit on that.
we
That's what
have
I
to
thought
watch
was
this.
funny.
We have to watch this.
And she shitted on it, which first off, I was like, one, you would want that cock so far in you with Mrs.
And
Tits.
first of all, it's like literally this is what she wanted. Like you know what I mean? Like
I
we talked
agree
about
with
you know
you.
what I mean?
Another thing
Like
out
this
of
is
context.
This is what the woman that wanted that. So you
They
telling
were
me
stretched,
you telling,
like you
you
said,
telling
they
a woman
were
she doesn't
reaching.
want-
Ryan,
They
don't
were
let them
reaching.
get in your head.
No, I'm interested. Like I would love to have the conversation. It's again, it's them search. It's reaching. They're reaching for.
Don't worry, Mrs. the Tits over there, who's just a hole with tits.
I think maybe the
she
worst
would've
food to
fucked
eat
him.
on Mike is a gummy
I
worm.
agree.
Son, you two over there munching on gummy worms. We can wrap it up if you'd like. 'Cause
They-
we've got to the point where now they're eating.
The gummy worms have been a staple of this podcast from
yeah,
day
it's
one.
disgusting. Nobody wants to hear it. Listen to that. That's disgusting.
That's him. That's him.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I at least had.
We're not making mukbang videos. If you want to do that, that's a separate video.
I had the wherewithal to move my mic away.
One time he did.
He had the wherewithal. You've never had the wherewithal to move your mic. Well, you hit yourself with it. You breathe into it.
I did hit myself
The one time.
You had the werewolf all to chew into the microphone. I don't know what that means.
Speaking of mukbang videos,
Mukbang.
I mukbang, whatever the hell. I started watching those too, and those are very interesting to me. I just watched.
Some people like them. But that's not what this is.
There's a real pretty woman that does it, and she just eats the stuff. And I'm like, how does she stay so?
I like
fit?
it better if is it weightlifting or is it having sex?
What's that?
You never saw the Adam Sandler?
Oh,
is
yeah,
it people
yeah, yeah.
weightlifting or having
Yeah,
sex?
yeah. How does
It's
that
just me
relate?
and my balls.
How does that relate to
Well,
this?
you're listening to audios and you have to figure out what it is.
That's couldn't.
Wait, what?
Isn't that what mukbang is? It's like different sounds of people chewing and doing all
You're not
weird
trying to
shit.
figure out what it is. You're
Yeah,
just
I feel
listening.
like you're still
you could,
kinda-
you could say this podcast reminds me of that Adam Sandler bit because you listen to it.
From what I
left
see,
field.
with the that was odd. What I see with the
That's what
mukbang
came
videos,
to my head.
it's people like go to like a fast food place and get the whole menu and just eat it, and a lot of them are like really hot. And it's
Yeah.
confusing.
I told you I made Monique a mukbang. She likes those, so I made her a video a mukbang of me eating Chipotle or Cabo Fresh, I think it was.
God, can we put that on the Patreon?
Sure. It was just me chewing into the microphone, a juicy burrito. And it was disgusting because most people
Wait,
hate
so
it.
Monique might like our gummy.
But yeah, but there's people gonna like it. She's gonna love you chewing it. She's probably gonna isolate that and go to sleep listening to you chew a gummy bear. It's a microphone. But that's a specific thing you have to gear towards the people who
crowd.
want it.
We're
You
here
can't
for-
just throw that in because most people hate it.
Hey, listen, we're here for everybody. All right.
Yes, but you have to
we
gear this
sprinkle a
towards
little
everybody.
salt and pepper on everybody.
I'm quitting. T-Birz is gonna come. I'm making him take over this podcast again.
Yep.
Can I give them back to you, T-Briz?
We are.
You can use the studio. You can use the equipment. I don't want to be in the room.
He's still fucking chewing.
I'm trying to get it down.
Yeah,
It's done. It's
good.
done. I apologize.
That chick from that podcast doesn't have trouble getting it down.
What a stretch. Maybe you should stay home today.
Yeah, if these are going to be the things you're going to say, like they're just not. Come on.
Also, that seems complimentary, not like an insult.
All right.
All right.
All right.
It's
Well,
in
we-
his head. Whatever.
God.
This has been
this shit show.
This has been a wild day. I've been here half my day
Yeah, you have.
Been a long
You've been
day.
a trooper. Yeah, but now we got one in the
in the
Can.
can.
All right, I'll see you
Just
guys
like
in
when
2
that
weeks.
lady likes it. No, you know, we're gonna save that for a different day. I don't
I
know.
know.
Oh God, I had
Well,
something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was.
Like,
It doesn't matter
subscribe, comment, listen back.
now. Listen back. You want people to re-listen to this? Just
listen once.
You want people to listen back to this one?
Listen back to
Reviews.
this one.
Yeah.
Oh God. Listen, we apologize.
We'll be better.
We'll be better.
We'll be better if you made
Yeah.
it this far.
Jesus.
Thank you for listening.
Sorry, guys.